Welcome to the world of EMRYS, where stories come alive, ideas spark, and curiosity leads the way. Whether you're here for the thrill, the chill, or the real, you're in the right place. Where ancient whispers meet modern ears. Here, we breathe life into forgotten folktales, legends, and stories passed down through generations. If you crave mystery, magic, and meaning, you're in the right place. Subscribe, sit back, hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Let's dive in. I saw the bride cry on her wedding day. Not small tears, I mean real, shaking sobs. Like someone walking to their own grave, and the man she was forced to marry he didn't blink. Not once. Just stood there barefoot, like it didn't concern him. His name was Chidiok. A quiet man. Poor, like stone poor. He lived at the edge of our village in a broken hut that leaked rain. Nobody knew much about him. He didn't have family, friends, or land. Just one old wrapper and a wooden stool. My friend Gozi, the girl they forced to marry him, was the opposite. She was beautiful. Not just her face. Her heart was kind. She had dreams too. She always said she wanted to go to the city and become a nurse. But her family didn't care about that. They said she had to marry him. They said, he's humble. He's respectful. He prays. But I knew the truth. They were tired of feeding her. Her father owed people money. Her mother just wanted her gone. So, one hot Saturday afternoon, they dressed her up and walked her to Chidiok's compound. No music. No dance. Just quiet shame. She didn't smile once. When the old pastor asked, "Do you accept?" she paused for too long. People started looking around. Then her mother coughed loud from the back. She whispered yes. Her voice broke. And Chidiok. He didn't say anything. Just nodded when it was his turn. No emotion. No expression. People clapped softly. No real joy. Just awkward noise. Then they handed Ngozi over to him. Like property. The pastor prayed. The sun beat down. And I saw Ngozi look at me once, just once, like she was asking me to help her. I couldn't. That night, I stayed up late. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about her. Then, around midnight, I heard it. A car. Not just any car. A big one. With engine sounds none of us had ever heard before. It drove through the village road, slow, like it didn't want to be seen. I peeped through my window. It stopped outside Chidiok's hut. A black SUV. It sat there for a few minutes. The headlights were off, but I saw shadows moving inside. Then it drove away. No door opened. No one came out. Next morning, I ran to Ngozi's new house. She was outside, washing her feet. She looked tired. Eyes puffy like she hadn't slept. I asked her, "Ngozi, are you okay?" She nodded slowly. Too slowly. I asked again, "Did you see that car last night?" She shook her head. But something was off. There was a golden anklet on her leg. I had never seen her wear that before. And she smelled like new perfume. Not the kind you find in the market. The kind that smells expensive. Still, she said nothing happened. Still, she said they had no food. Still, she said Chidiok left early in the morning and didn't say where he was going. That whole week, strange things happened. Her family got a sack of rice out of nowhere. Their leaking roof was suddenly fixed. Her brother got a scholarship to a school he didn't apply for. But when people asked where the money came from, her mother just smiled and said, God provides. I knew something was wrong. I knew she wasn't telling the truth. But what could I do? I was just her neighbor. And Chijioke. He still walked around barefoot, still wore the same old wrapper, still greeted people quietly like nothing had changed. Except now, people started bowing their heads lower when they greeted him. As if they felt something. As if they knew something but couldn't explain it. One evening, I walked past their hut. I heard Ngozi crying inside. It wasn't loud. It was the kind of crying people do when they know nobody can help them. That's when I heard Chijioke's voice. Calm. Deep. No emotion. He said, I chose you because you looked at me like a man, not like a beggar. She cried harder. He said again, but you lied. Then silence. The next morning, she wasn't at the stream. She always came to fetch water at 6 a.m. I waited. She didn't come. I went to the hut. Knocked. No answer. When I opened the door, she wasn't there. But her shoes were. And a note was on the ground. It just said, I'm still here. Just not in the way you think. I felt cold all over. Like something was watching me. Like the air itself was warning me to go. I closed the door and left. And I swear, as I walked away, I heard the engine of that black car again. But there was no road. And no car in sight. After Ngozi disappeared that morning, people didn't talk about it right away. In our village, people like to mind their business, especially when something doesn't feel normal. Her parents told everyone she went to the city with her husband. She's fine, her mother said. Very fine. She's resting. But you could see it in her face, she was scared. I knew she was lying. Nobody leaves that suddenly without packing. Nobody leaves their slippers behind. Nobody leaves a note like that. A few days later, rumors started. Mama Ijeoma said she saw Ngozi inside a black SUV in town, the one with glass so dark you can't see who's inside. She said Ngozi looked different. Not like herself. She had makeup on, gold earrings, and she didn't look sad. But her face wasn't right, Mama Ijeoma said. It was like she was smiling with her mouth, but not with her eyes. I believed her. Then another person said they saw Chijioke at the bank in the next town. Wearing shoes. Real shoes. And not just that, he was holding a phone that looked brand new. But when someone from our village greeted him, he acted like he didn't hear. I tried to talk to Ngozi's little brother one day. I asked if she called or sent letters. He said yes. She called once. But he looked down when he said it. Like someone had warned him. And then he whispered something before he ran off. She told me to stay away from the river. At this point, I couldn't sit still anymore. I knew something had happened to her. Or was still happening. So I did something foolish. One night, I went to her hut again. It was still locked, quiet. But I waited. And at exactly 2 a.m., I saw it. That same black SUV drove down the bush path. No lights. It didn't stop this time. It went straight past her house and into the forest. There's no road there. Just trees. Thick ones. I swear the trees moved aside like they were opening for it. And when the car passed, they closed again. Like nothing happened. Next day, I asked one of the boys in the village, the one always running errands, if he ever saw anything strange. He said, Auntie, I saw a man take a helicopter from behind that bush one morning. I laughed, thinking he was joking. He didn't laugh. I'm serious. He walked in barefoot. came out dressed like a big man, got into the helicopter and flew away. Now everything started making sense, but also didn't. Why would a billionaire pretend to be poor? Why marry a village girl and live in a leaking hut? Why all the secrets? Then one day, I saw Ngozi again. In town. He was in that SUV. This time, I got closer. And I saw her face clearly. She looked clean, soft, like someone who had not worked a day in her life. But when our eyes met through the window, she didn't wave. She didn't smile. She just stared. Like she didn't know me anymore. Then the glass rolled up slowly. And the car drove off. I cried that night. Because I realized something. She wasn't missing. She wasn't taken. She stayed. By choice. But the question was, why? That week, things in the village changed. Chijioke stopped coming to church. But nobody asked. A bag of rice appeared at Ngozi's parents' house again. And this time, a new television. When someone asked her father where the money came from, he said, "My daughter is married to a man of God." But even he didn't believe it. I tried to visit again. This time, the house was open. But she wasn't inside. Just silence. And something strange. Everything in the room was new. Mattress. Curtains. Fan. Even the floor had changed smooth cement. And in the corner, on a small table, was a photo of Chijioke and Ngozi. They looked perfect. Smiling. But again the eyes were wrong. Both of them. Like they were smiling because they were told to. I was about to leave when I saw it. A small, folded paper tucked under the mattress. I pulled it out. Just one line. Written in Ngozi's handwriting. He said he tests everyone once. Don't fail. That was it. No name. No greeting. Just that. I put it back. And walked out. Now I'm scared. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know who Chijioke is. But I know this. Ngozi is alive. She's with him. But she's not free. About a week after I found that note under Ngozi's mattress, I couldn't sleep again. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice. Not talking. Just crying. Like that first night. I didn't know what the message meant. He said he tests everyone once. Don't fail. But it felt like a warning. So I stayed quiet. Watched. Waited. Then one Sunday morning, a stranger came to our village. Not by car. He walked in from the bush path, wearing clean clothes and shiny shoes. He had a camera. Said he was taking pictures of rural life for a magazine. Nobody believed that. Not really. He took photos of the stream. The trees. A goat. Then he started asking about Chijioke. Where's that man who lives alone? He asked me. I pretended not to know. He asked again. The one who married that girl, pretty one. Tall. Light skin. I shrugged. But something in his face changed. He smiled like he knew I was lying. Then he said, "It's okay. I already saw the house." That stopped me. What house? He just nodded toward the bush. The real one, he said. Not that hot. After he left, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So that evening, I followed the path behind Chijioke's compound. The one where the black SUV always came from. I wore slippers and carried a stick, just in case. The bush was thick. Hot. Full of mosquitoes. But I kept walking. Then, after what felt like 30 minutes, the trees opened up. And I saw it. A mansion. A real one. Hidden deep inside the forest. Tall walls. Big gate. Satellite dish. Everything. It didn't look like it belonged here. It looked like something from the city. I stood there, frozen. Then I saw someone come out. Ngozi. Wearing a white gown. Long flowing. Like something you wear at a wedding. She walked like she had no weight. But she wasn't alone. Chijioke followed behind her. Also dressed in white. They didn't speak. They didn't even look at each other. They just walked together to the gate. Looked up at the sky for a few seconds. Then went back inside. I hid in the bush until it got dark. Then I ran home. I couldn't understand it. Why were they pretending to be poor? Why hide that kind of life? What were they really doing in that house? The next morning, people in the village were acting strange. A boy had gone missing. Small boy. About 10 years old. His mother was crying. Screaming. Said he went to pick fruit and never came back. I remember that warning Ngozi's brother gave me. She told me to stay away from the river. I went to the stream. And I saw something in the water. A wrapper. Ngozi's. The same one she wore the night before her wedding. It floated by slowly, then disappeared under a log. I ran back home. That night, I heard a knock on my door. Very soft. Tap. Tap. I opened it slowly. No one was there. But there was a gift bag on the ground. Inside it was a box. Inside the box was money. A lot of it. And a note. For your silence. I dropped it. My heart was beating fast. I didn't take it inside. I burned the box that night. Right in front of my door. Next day, someone came to fix my roof. I didn't ask. I didn't pay. They just came. The next week, I got a bag of rice. Then a new dress. Then someone offered me a job in town. Things were coming to me that I didn't ask for. I told the village chief. He told me, accept it. Don't ask questions. Some people are chosen. That's when I knew. They all knew. Maybe not everything. But enough. Enough to keep their mouths shut. I thought about Ngozi again. The way she looked in that mansion. The way she didn't speak. The way she stared at me through the SUV window like I was a stranger. And I realized something. She wasn't just his wife now. She was part of something. Maybe not willingly. Maybe she couldn't live anymore even if she wanted to. Sometimes I think about going back to that mansion. Just to see. Just to talk to her. But something always stops me. That voice. The one that whispered in my mind when I read her note. He tests everyone once. Don't fail. It was a Sunday again. 1 year after Ngozi's wedding. The village was quiet, but too quiet. Like everyone was waiting for something bad to happen. That morning, 2 goats went missing. Then, a girl fainted during church. Then, someone said they saw the river turn brown for a few minutes, then back to clear. Old people started muttering. Some said it was a sign. That someone had broken a rule. That the river was angry. Later that day, I got another visitor. Not the photographer. A woman this time. Very clean, very calm. She came to my door with a file in her hand. I'm here for a health survey, she said. I told her I wasn't sick. She smiled. It's not about sickness. It's about memory. We are testing people. I told her no. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "It's your turn." My heart dropped. That night, I dreamed of Ngozi. She was standing in the river, holding a baby. But her mouth was covered in mud. And the baby had no face. When I woke up, there was mud on my doorstep. Real mud. Wet. There hadn't been rain for days. I finally understood. The test wasn't a question. It wasn't a paper or a choice you could say no to. The test was whether you would talk. Whether you would dig too deep. Whether you would refuse the gift. And I had done all of that. That evening, I packed my things. I left the village without telling anyone. I took a night bus to Port Harcourt and started over. I changed my name. Got a job as a cleaner. Kept my head down. But sometimes, I see them. In the market. On a billboard. Once, at the bank. Ngozi. Still beautiful. Still quiet. Always with Chijioke. But her eyes, still wrong. Like she's inside a cage she can't explain. Sometimes people ask me why I left the village. I say, bad memories. That's all. But I know the truth. There's a house in the bush, hidden behind trees that move. There's a man who pretends to be poor so no one will question how he chooses his wife. There's a girl who disappeared and reappeared with code, silence, and a new name. There's a river that watches. And once it chooses someone, there is no way back. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for next.